Says it's time to abandon political correctness. Joining us now is former Massachusetts Senator and Donald Trump supporter Scott Brown. Good morning to you, Senator.
Good morning, Sandra.
Your thoughts following this massacre in Orlando?
Well, obviously, it's tragic. It's cowardly. Certainly raises the awareness that we need to do an immediate, frank, and detailed analysis as to how we're treating these types of incidents.
Okay,
how
so
they
what
can
does
be
that
prevented.
what does that look like? What do we need to do specifically?
Well, look, sure. Specifically, we need to make sure that the law enforcement personnel have the tools and resources to do their jobs, and their hands are not handcuffed by political correctness. When you have a president, when you have others in our society not identifying, number one, who the enemy is, number two, being fearful, our law enforcement people are fearful that they're either going to get sued or they're going to be labeled to have some type of bias against a specific group if, in fact, they go and, for example, in this case, you had the FBI on two separate occasions.
What could local law enforcement do if the FBI wasn't even able to identify that this person was a grave threat? I mean, what could local law enforcement do better than the FBI? Well, they investigated him, but nothing came of it. Two different investigations.
Exactly. Is that normal, Sandra? Do you know anybody that you know that's been investigated twice by the FBI and he's allowed to get weapons? I mean, how does that even happen that he's not on some type of list so he can't even buy a firearm, or he's not working for a security company? So there's going to be a lot more that's going to come out about that, obviously, and we need to step back and make sure we get the information. I thought the local law enforcement did an amazing job once they identified what was happening and going in and rescuing lives. But I believe that there's a consensus throughout this country right now where law enforcement, as you've referenced and we've talked about, feel that their hands are tied and they're getting more and more restrictions in dealing with these types of things. So we have to figure out where we want to go in this country. We want to give them the tools and resources and the attitude that we support them 100%, or we're going to step back and be handcuffed politically by political correctness.
Senator Steve Rogers has a question.
Yeah, Senator, you're absolutely
right.
Steve,
how you doing, man?
Good, Senator. You're absolutely right. And I could tell you that what has happened over the years is that police officers do feel handcuffed. The U.S. Congress, as well as the president, they have the responsibility to provide this nation with protection from local law enforcement to U.S. military. If you notice, and I know you know this, Senator, that there was a lot of funding given to police departments for the military equipment that they needed to address issues like this. And then we had the Ferguson effect. What happened? The federal government wanted all that equipment back, and the funding stopped. So he's spot on, Sandra. He's spot on when it comes to that.
All right, Kevin.
Senator, good morning. One of the main questions I have is, isn't the only real way to root out this ideology is to go take the fight over there and destroy the caliphate? Because we've seen now 2 attacks on American soil within the last year, and it's no coincidence that we've talked about it earlier, that basically they had 700 fighters, now they're up to 30,000, and we're doing nothing, and Iran's filling the void when America left. So isn't that the way we handle this situation, is destroy basically the caliphate that is fostering this ideology?
Yeah, we can go back and talk in Monday Morning Quarterback. Yeah, I believe it started in Iraq when the president didn't leave a transition force there, and also was extended in Syria when he drew that red line and nothing happened. So we can go on and talk how Al-Qaeda of Iraq is now ISIS, the size of New England. And obviously, I think what we need to do is not only that, but make sure that we deal with the propaganda tools that they have. How do they have a radio station that's actually functioning, spewing out hate? How do we have mosques that are actually spewing out hate, that have radical clerics coming in and actually firing up and getting these people fired up, so you have the lone wolf situation, or you have these people who are inspired? How do they use social media? How do Facebook and Twitter allow these people to spew their hate? At what point do we stop with the political correctness and actually give our law enforcement and give the American citizens the protections that they actually need?
Okay.
And the point is this, Senator, at what point is when the President of the United States recognizes this as war. And once you recognize this as war, the rules of engagement change. You you unleash the military on the ISIS and the terrorists in the Mideast, and you have different rules here. It's no longer addressed as a criminal justice incident. It's addressed as a combatant. These are enemy combatants looking to destroy us. Whole new set of rules.
Senator, we've got to let you go there.
Yep.
Just wanted to get this in here. We do know that Donald Trump, you do support Donald Trump in this presidential race. He's set to give a speech later today. He's expected to address terrorism and this massacre. Your response, what do you make of the response that you've seen from Donald Trump so far on this?
Well, first of all, he'll be in the room right next door here. I'm here at St. Anselm's right now. The response, I think he's spot on when it comes to bringing in people from Syria and war-torn countries without having any investigation whatsoever. To say it's just Muslim-related, I think, it's more than that. I think we have to really change our attitude in identifying who's perpetrating these cowardly acts and make sure that we can actually stop it by not only dealing with the political correctness, but making sure our law enforcement and citizenry have the ability to protect themselves.
All right. Well, we will be watching. Senator Brown, thank you for joining us this morning on this.